Okay, so welcome to our next video for COMP3218. It's Games Design and Development at the University of Southampton. My name's Dave Millard, I'm one of the lecturers on the course, and I'm here with...
I'm Max Heyman, I'm one of the demonstrators on the course.
I'm Callum Smallfoot, I'm another demonstrator on this course.
And I'm Tom Brown, I am another lecturer on the course.
Brilliant. Okay, so we've got a couple of games to go through, but before we do, Tom, do you want to say a little bit about what we asked the students to do?
So this coursework was all about storytelling in games, so we asked them to make another small game prototype that contained a story engine, so some way for the gameplay to affect the narrative and vice versa. And they could pick 3 stories to base their game around, either Rapunzel, the Frog Prince, or the Travelling Musicians.
Brilliant. Okay, so this first game, we had some problems with the WebGL build, so we're going to play it from the Unity editor, but we did check the Windows build, so we know it's working okay. So let's get it going. And what's it called?
This one is called The Survivor.
Okay, so here we go.
So is that a Minecraft creeper?
Creepers hiss. It's a zombie.
I love the
Zombie,
noise.
yeah.
Okay, so I've generously let Max drive again.
Although Max, congratulations. You press space.
I did.
Yeah, it just takes a little
no,
while. To,
okay.
I think because we're running it from the editor, it rebakes some of the assets, so it might take a little while longer than it does in the Windows build.
Can you survive waiting on the title screen? Hey,
Here we go, we're in.
So I don't think you have full control yet, because we've got this little sort of intro cutscene almost before your dad runs off over there.
Let's start at the back. So I quite like you go straight into it. You've got the instructions, and you've got a very clear goal straight away.
So we need supplies, be quiet or they'll hit you.
So is that something on the shelf there, like a
Yeah,
glimmering?
did.
There is a slightly glimmery thing.
Oh wait, it's on that side. I can't move backwards.
So I quite like the lighting. It'd be nice if you use the WA and D keys to move thing just disappeared at some point. Ah,
Oh, that was loud.
they probably heard that. Help!
It certainly sounds like
Help! Oh! Left click to attack.
Okay, can anyone see any?
Yes,
there,
there,
there.
there he is. There he is.
Let me turn that sound down just a little.
Game over.
Well, I think you got eaten, Max.
What just happened?
I think your dad got eaten by a zombie.
Try again. Okay. There's a lot of rrrs. Okay, we will. Oh yeah, bake paused in play mode. On the bottom right.
Interesting.
No reference.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So what do we think of that one then, guys?
I think there's a few loose ends in this game, but we'll hopefully
The
we can
controls
get
are
a bit
very
further.
weird because you can't turn with the mouse, but you attack with the mouse, and you just
Yeah.
use
So you
W
can't,
to move forwards, A and D to sort of turn.
Weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a
And
control scheme that we've seen in a couple of the earlier courseworks. And yeah, it does feel a little bit off.
Substantially off.
Okay, here we go again.
Don't let your dad die this time.
Yeah, yeah.
So go get your magical hatchet.
Was it a hatchet or was it a gun?
It's a hatchet.
it looks very heavy though.
I thought it was a wrench.
It's
Oh,
a
right.
hatchet.
Okay.
Okay, so go over there and attack. A zombie.
You're not really sort of rushing to help, are you?
Yeah.
Go on. It's a bit ponderous. There we go.
Alright.
Thank God you found that axe. Game.
I killed him.
Okay.
What happened?
Sort of still clipping through the...
I think he may have taken fatal damage before you killed him.
Right.
Bail.
I think we bail.
Alright.
I'm going to suggest that we take this from the top of 2 and we'll figure out what to do with this thing tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think because I think we might have to.
Could they just stop making their games so hard so that we can see them?
So that's,
Let the expert do it.
see what you mean about the control scheme.
Grab that.
Thank you.
Run over
I
as
just-
fast as possible.
He just appears out of nowhere,
Yeah, he does.
and he blames you for making that loud sound.
Left click to attack.
Alright.
See, easy.
Damn it! It bit me. I can't move my arm. Dad, there's probably more coming. We need to move.
He looks a bit young to be her dad.
Yeah. Dad appears to be Boy George. Pass an abandoned house back through the gate. Lead your dad to shelter. Okay.
So if we head out there.
Dark.
It's so very, very dark, yeah.
Okay. So I've got an axe with a very slow animation, and this appears to be like a
Courtyard or something?
courtyard. Is that where we came? Was that where I
I
was?
think that was the other end.
Oh, okay. So it's just got lots of okay. So can anyone see a gate or anything? Can I get out? It's a bit.
So in the window of the building it is a little bit brighter, so it might just be that some of the lights haven't quite loaded in.
It's probably what it was doing when trying to load the game.
So I look at that. Is that a hole? No, it's just a texture not loading in. Can I go on the back? I feel like I'm going quite slowly.
Yeah. Feels like a sprint function would be nice.
Yeah.
Alternatively, this is a very, very big area full of...
Dad, wait, please. Don't leave me behind.
Wait, so he's gone.
Where is he?
He's moving very slowly, it seems.
Oh god,
He looks undead already.
He's not looking well, is he? Got paracetamol for him. Oops. Sorry. There you go.
Yeah, don't accidentally axe him to death.
It's a very odd axe animation, isn't it? Am I just back in here again? I am. So where do I have to go? It did say that we saw a gate or something.
Yeah,
didn't it?
back where the way you came. But you came from that.
I came from over here. Am I just being a bit blind? Is one of these a gate that I kind of need to...
Just walk around the edge, maybe we'll find something. This looks like a particularly full area of things. Maybe it's out there.
Oh, I mean, there's a path there. To the left. To the other side.
Ah, that's the gate. The gate just looks exactly the same as the rest of the fence.
And
Alright.
just moves.
A bit frustrating, but...
Oh, yes, you're in a...
Lead your dad to shelter. Dad, it's just up here on the right. Right then. I'm going to remember your experiencing the Stanley parody. I'm going to do as I'm told.
Alright, we found a house.
Yeah. So what did they say about their... Find something to patch me up. From what I remember, there's an old hospital further down that path. Ah, so we lose Pops here.
Okay.
I can get out of the house.
It's a very interesting camera. Sort of, it's getting stuck in all the walls.
Yeah, he's still going, but we're bored now. I know what we're doing.
So it
Just
does seem
go.
a little bit slow paced, and that's partly just because our character doesn't really seem to be in a hurry, especially given
No.
like the urgency of the situation. It feels all the more like ponderous.
Yeah. So yeah, what do they say about their story engine?
So here's the thing. So first riddle me this. Tell me what fairy tale you think this is based on.
The
My,
Walking Dead.
yeah, my guess is it's
Classic fairy tale.
Yes.
28 days later. Yeah.
So this is based on the Frog Prince, and as we sort of progress through the story, the reason
Ooh.
why it's based on that will become more apparent.
Where did your weapon go?
Get your weapon back. Oh, E.
Oh,
Shift to run.
so
Oh,
you just
survivor,
picked up
I
this
can
one.
help you regain hope. Oh, so I was saved by the survivor.
Who looks a bit like a zombie.
With a t-shirt on.
With a
I'm
t-shirt.
working on a cure that could save millions, but is he making a noise?
Yeah, he's basically a zombie.
No, there's zombies. The
Oh,
zombies
there's
coming.
like 18,000 of them.
Wow. Okay.
So I have to run, I think. Oh, at last I can run. Knock the survivor out. E on the door.
So was that run gated behind the narrative?
Feels like it.
Slow down, I'm falling behind. Are you kidding? You see all the zombies?
So the idea is this is actually based on the Frog Prince, and we've got the frog, or in this case the zombie, who's
Yeah.
actually super important and is working on a cure that can save the day. However, we get at some point to make a narrative choice about do we use
It's
this.
just to lock the survivor out.
So here's
Optional.
coming.
So if we optionally lock the survivor out, we can.
Is he making zombie noises?
It might be.
Ah, I can't get in. Get out of my way.
God, this is...
Ah, heaven's sake.
You're just going to kill them all now.
Well, I can't move, and I just missed the gate. Get back. Get back.
Oh, you should have killed them all. Okay.
Oh, no.
Almost. Almost.
Did you have to go from the top then, or is it a... So if you
Let's
do,
find
that'll
out.
be...
It's a bit steady.
So there are
Okay.
some choices. So you can choose to either help the survivor or not, or you can just leave him. You can decide to let him in or lock him out.
Yeah, go on.
And there are a couple of things that sort of subvert the player's agency. So if, for example, you lock him out, your dad will let him in just to keep the narrative on track.
Okay, that's quite cute.
And eventually, the survivor tells you about a lab that he's working on, and you can go and help him.
It'd be quite close, like right next to them.
Oh.
Right, like literally in his face.
I think I've lost this.
And at the end of the game, you have to make a choice about whether you save the survivor so he can carry on working on the cure,
Yeah.
or whether you sacrifice him and save your dad instead, so you
Okay.
can give your dad the cure.
So that sprinting is definitely gated behind
Yes.
that narrative
I
for
had
no
I-
purpose.
I had already tried shift to.
Yeah, there
to
seems
run.
no real reason to do that.
Yeah.
Especially when it would make
I mean,
this.
so it's obviously introduced when it's very useful for you to have the shift, but there's no reason with the sprint rather.
Yeah.
But there's no reason for you not to have it before.
Yeah, there's nothing to stop them keeping the hint.
I'd also say we've seen this in a few games now. Be very cautious about just immediately failing your player for in the same way as happened here, and having them restart from the very beginning of the narrative.
Yeah.
Because we've seen all that bit. It's not.
Again, in a full game, sure, maybe fine. Even then, probably not. But particularly for a prototype where you're trying to show off parts of your game,
Yeah.
it makes sense to have sort of quick iteration cycles so you can very quickly sort of test
So I've
different
been-
aspects of what
I've
you've
been playing Near Automata recently, and that has an hour's play before the first save point.
Wow.
Which is and there are some tough bits in
So
that
why
hour.
can you just go and answer the door?
There's two boss fights in there as well.
Alright, so there's a zombie we need to kill.
Yeah.
Like that.
Final.
And then what, we trip up on a log and drop our hatchet?
I don't know what happened.
So this looks like a log.
Partly because it's very dark.
So if we trip up on that, right? And then
Get your weapon back. Oh,
But
we
it
attack
doesn't,
by a
there's no,
zombie at
there's
a
no
minute.
indication of how to get that weapon
I
back.
think he comes and saves you.
Yeah. But where is that? There he is.
So
That's the survivor. Take your weapon back. E.
So it's an in-game event, right? It's a scripted.
Yep.
It's a cutscene, but it's not taking away control from the character. You can still sort of act.
Yep.
So then we gain the ability to sprint.
So you sprint all the way back home.
He's still going on about it,
I'm
but-
trying. I think I've got stamina.
So here's the problem with scriptable events. Because the
I got
survivor
too
is still
far.
busy chatting to us as we leg it down the forest. But there you go. Okay, so if we make it actually walk in this time and then wait for him to follow you.
Easy,
Or just
easy. Alright, so if I just do that and lock him out like that.
Here's the supplies. Can you lock them? Can you lock the
How
door?
did you get the supplies?
No idea.
Please let me in.
So did you lock the door or not?
I locked the door.
Oh, you did. I'm begging you. What have you done? So actually, I mean, it's ever so difficult to make scripted events
Yeah.
work.
Well, I mean, it's
But I quite like the fact they've got scripted events, and I quite like the fact they've corrected your narrative mistake.
So it's one of these. It's sort of the illusion of choice. So it lets you do this, and it sort of gives the
Yeah.
appearance of your dad's upset at you for having done this
Yeah.
thing, even if
Yeah.
it doesn't have any further
Well, they
impact.
encountered it. It was kind of like you just closed the door behind it.
So I'm not sure. Is
Oh,
the survivor making the noise?
No, I think
No?
it might be zombies because it's getting quieter as I go from the house.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Unless.
that was quite confusing. All right, so now we face this moral.
Oh, did we just get whispered to from down the road?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
So
Oh,
now we have to
save you.
Save one.
I choose to save neither.
a diegetic choice. Oh, go on, save
Don't
one.
pick
Then.
one, otherwise you have to do
That's-
everything again.
That's
Save him. Save him.
easier said than done. He's turning faster than me.
Go on. Quick.
Yeah, the controls are a little bit.
Oh,
Oh dear.
Is that winning or losing?
We're switching scene maybe.
saliva. Oh, thank
Okay.
you. Oh dear. There's
That's
good old dad being pushed along the. So I mean, we did talk about making narrative choices in game, and that clearly is
Yeah.
a
They've
very
done
clear
their best to
narrative
do
choice. So I think that's really good. So I think the execution of some of these things is a little bit off, but they're really hard things to get
Oh,
right.
yeah.
You know, scripted in-game events with proper camera angles and which adjust depending on how far away you get from them and all the rest of it. That's really hard. So I'm quite impressed actually with what they've managed to do here.
So the way the narrative is sort of given to the player is mostly through these sort of text dumps.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, again, we've talked about sort of words per minute before.
I don't like them
Yeah.
being sent.
There's not that many though.
The
There's
end.
not that many.
And they are sort of spread across the story.
Yeah.
They don't really draw super close parallels to the Frog Prince, other than the idea of appearances being deceptive. This person looks like a zombie, but he's actually really helpful, and things like that. So they do sort of, they've,
Is that the only?
I think so. Let's check the notes they submitted.
Yeah.
So they've also mapped out a very nice sort of pacing graph, where you've got that climax of who you want
And I
to
think
see.
that does work. You've got the initial thing straight at the beginning, and then the encounter with the survivor, and then the thing at the end. So I think that this is that narratively this is really nicely put together, and they've listened very carefully to some of the things we've said about the diegetic choices, about kind of how to guide people's agency so it feels like they're making decisions, but perhaps bringing them back onto the main path.
So they've explicitly said in their notes they really wanted to give the player as much agency as possible.
Yeah.
So they've deliberately not used cutscenes because they wanted
Yes.
all decisions to be made sort of.
In game.
Yeah.
And the only thing that perhaps isn't working is that the game itself is a little bit awkward to play. So actually you know
In
what you
terms of
want to
controls
in
rather
terms of
than-
control. So what you want to do is you want to save one of them, but actually you end up circling round and round them, waving next in the air. But
Yeah.
so the actual game itself is a little bit rickety, but narratively, I think they've done a great job. I think they've done a nice job of
Yeah, I'm very, very pleased about, again, that diegetic choice. And the absence of cutscenes is refreshing.
and just delivering the narrative through the dialogue in the scene, and not taking away. They've not gone into dialogue mode. They've kind of had those conversations happening, and I think that's a brave choice, and it's kind of paid off for them. I think. Yeah, good job. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so our next game on this video is called.
This one's called, is it Musical RPG? Oh no, that's right. My house has been nicked by robbers and I must have taken it.
Which is a fantastic title. All my house belong to us. Right. So, here we go. So I have to say, I saw this in the expo, and I thought the art style was astonishingly good.
It is really fantastic, isn't it?
Here we go.
It's very unique.
His washed up mess, nobody will mind. Pretty fancy place for a washed up mess. People's town are too sentimental. He's riding his old fame until somebody bothers to challenge him for it. And that's where we fit in, right, boss?
And so we've got Robin.
Yeah, we've been planning this for days. I'm guessing these are the robbers.
So it would have been nice if maybe the colour of the name matched to
Yes,
who was
that's true.
speaking, because I suppose it doesn't really matter, but I have no idea who's saying what.
So it looks like they've stolen our house. Calm down. Glad you could join us, player. Get the funk away from my house. Why not? You've had your day. There's no place in this town for a washed up nobody. It's time to make way for some real talent. Leave now.
Oh, is it player as in music player?
I'll be
White
Could
noise
be.
bounty.
back soon. It's just let's back away. I don't fancy my chances on my own. So I could do with some prompting to what to do, but I know from playing before.
But you're right, the art style's so nice. Oh,
Look at that.
The way the light changes as well.
It's gorgeous, isn't it?
That is really
So there's what's that? A bush. A bush still. All right. What about a guitar?
So what are the controls for actually picking it up? Let me see if I've got them. Doesn't seem to mention the controls.
So, okay. So if I go
it's
over
point,
here.
point and click. It says.
So here's a fox with a tongue.
I
Doesn't
guess.
tell you what it is. Donkey, horse. I haven't seen you since our band broke up. You look terrible. I'm making a new band. I want you to join. I can't just team up with someone who's worse than me. There's only one way to prove that. So now we're fighting. It's musical fighting. All right, fine. So let's do a guitar solo. Select attack target. We're going to attack the horse.
Oh, I was really hoping there'd be some nice music sound effect or an animation or something there. That would have been very nice.
There we go. Yeah, could do. So we're playing it in the Unity player.
So I've checked the Windows build.
Yeah.
and I've run into a bit of a bug at the first hurdle. So
Yeah. So okay. So I think we're doing the best we can here, but we haven't got any music. So and of course when I saw it in the expo, I didn't necessarily notice because we were in a big room doing it all together, right? So
yeah, it doesn't seem to be sounding.
here we go. On Donkey's turn. I'm not sure. Is the horse doing anything to
I
me?
think it's injured you a little bit at least.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Alright, so straightforward
So-
introduction battle, it seems.
So all the animals have got different special powers, which is quite cute. And then in future battles they join you, and then they take turns, and you can use their powers.
Okay.
So right,
Oh, that's nice.
I thought we were just falling through the floor then, but no, it's the
No,
scenery change.
no, here we go. So now we've come in here. Now we're in the town bar, and we've got the cow. Bow now, bow bow, bow now. Funky bass solo. Nice. Why, you've still got it.
Oh, you're not going to keep doing the voiceovers there, Dave?
I need to stop and talk.
Okay.
Okay. So if I remember rightly, they basically said that each of the animals has got like a particular sort of mode of address, where if you take that up with them, they will then just agree to join you.
Okay.
So some of them, for example, if you insult them, they think, you know, being a strong person, they're attracted to that, and they'll come and some of them like to be flattered and that kind of stuff.
That's quite
And,
nice.
and it's a nice idea, but there's not really
Sorry,
anything to show you. So yeah.
so I think there was supposed to be a rooster next to that.
okay, so the keytar was missing a rooster. All right, let's. So now I'm the donkey, so I've got my 4 damage. Let's do that. Attack the cow. Now the horse. So the horse has Oh, I shouldn't have done that. So let's attack target. No, yeah, okay, I missed. So let's attack the cow again, and now this time the horse can 5 damage you, but take 2 damage, which is quite cool.
I
Shrink
like that
guitar.
they've glued the little instruments to the animals.
It's very
I
nicely done.
really like the backdrop as well.
Yeah.
Reminds me of the Toy Story scene in the intro.
Yes.
It does, yeah.
So this combat system is interesting, though, in the sense of it seems very, very straightforward so far.
Yeah, it could do with a bit more depth.
It feels like there's
but-
a lot of choice that could be posed to the player there. So the sort of do you sort of receive damage in return to do more damage and things like that?
I think it might just be because we're in these early battles where we've got to fight an individual animal. It's actually
Okay.
quite simple.
Yeah. So the one where it's
So did he join us or not?
I think so, yeah.
Ah.
So we had the choice of do 4 damage to one enemy or 2 damages to all enemies, and that's less of a choice because you can very quickly just math which is the best one.
Very, very much a calculation more than a meaningful
Ah,
choice.
the bar is closed. So I'm sort of going here.
That would be the sort of thing that would be fantastic
Oh,
if
back
there
to the
was some information on the enemies, so maybe there was some prioritization there or something.
I don't know. So there is
So-
supposed to be a rooster in the front.
Yeah, I think we have a rooster bug, but that's okay. Let's go back and we've got 2 animals. Let's confront the dogs. Let's do this. So
Right.
okay, I like the fact it's remembered. We're going straight to the option. It's washed up nobody. Berto, okay. Talking to this. He's brought friends.
Have you noticed it's Robin, Roberto, and the 3 Robs?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's cut the carp. So it looks like there's 3 choices which all do the same thing, which is good. Just a different way of framing it.
It's got a nice tone.
Here we go.
It's a gang.
Ah, the cow's turn. Overwhelming base. 5 damage to everybody. I like that. Let's start off with medicinal smoke. Right. 2 damage to. Should we concentrate?
Yeah.
Concentrate our firepower. Let's take out the dogs as we go. Okay, so now it's a bit more interesting, right?
Yeah.
Because I think let's do a medicinal smoke again. Guitar solo. Okay, so I kind of feel that this combat system is now working. It doesn't work particularly well.
On the
Yeah.
individual.
in the individuals. It may be that there needed to be some special aspect to those fights, but it's quite hard when you then
Well,
recruit
again,
the people.
Sort of, as a prototype, it sort of gives you that sort of. It gives you the sort of lead in. It sort of shows how it works on a fight that maybe is a bit easier, and then you start putting it together after. So I think it builds quite nicely.
Yeah. So okay.
And then you've got sort of the.
Oh yeah. Right. So I'm going to do a.
So we can't do the overall and base, or we'll kill our horse.
Yeah. So let's do restore 2 to everybody.
But it's three.
And now I can do 2 damage to all enemies, and that'll kill one of the dogs. Let's do that. And I think the other one's got a healing. Yeah. Let's heal our. Is it a horse? Yeah.
There we go.
So it's not immediately obvious that that dog is defeated, but
Presumably
get
not
there.
targetable.
the cow's actually got full health. Oh, he does that to everybody. Let's do
What happens
medicinal
if you
smoke.
flee?
Presumably we can just come back and recruit more people and then come back and fight again. I think.
I wonder if the dogs recover health between.
Guitar. So let's go for. Let's. Should we heal our ailing horse? Okay. Yeah, we're here for a while, but we're
Yeah,
doing
the problem
it.
is, it feels like some of these attacks would. I don't know. Maybe we're just not being greedy enough. Maybe we should be using the sort of self-damaging attacks a bit more. But it feels like they're maybe not quite so well balanced because we're very close to not being able to use something.
Okay.
I guess now, if we're down to just the 2 enemies, we can sort of
Overwhelming base.
because the cows attack. The cows only attack damages everyone.
I guess to some extent it's sort of missing that element that some RPGs have, which prevents you indefinitely sustaining, sort of like I think it's PP in Pokemon. And
I mean,
things
we're
like
not.
that.
We're still wearing them down, right? So
But that's
Yeah,
sort of
we're
what I
going
mean. It's possible just indefinitely sustained by healing, and then just dealing one point of
right,
damage is enough.
so we're
I was
consistent.
doing. I was then.
So I think we can heal
Yeah.
more on our turn and do damage than they can do damage.
We very
Yeah,
much stumbled
the-
across a complete winning strategy here.
Yeah, the balance. Yeah, there's an optimal way of doing it, isn't there? And you just repeat, because they're not changing any of their. So
They've
if-
only
if-
got the 1 attack, which is just do 3 damage.
Yeah.
If they
Whereas
had-
if they had something like, diverting attacks or kind of putting a shield over themselves or something.
I mean, okay, so it's a simple combat system, but
It works.
It's definitely functional. Like, there's always ways you can extend these systems, but
I am
what
bored
is
now.
there is nice.
Overwhelming damage. Ooh. There we go. This should do it for us. That was incredible. Thing with the music. Immortals. Just leave and what happened if I get there?
Ooh.
How would you like to join my band? Let's be nice. Let's join the band. Let's take it, we accept.
That's kind of nice.
Yeah.
There we go. And I think that's it. So it's lacking a little bit of a lead in and a little lead out, so it dropped us straight in. But otherwise, that's quite a key. Yeah. So I mean, if we talk about the quality, I mean, it's difficult to get around those visuals actually because the visuals are so striking. That's really nice.
But that's the thing, we've said, like, we say it all the time, like, we're not judging you on necessarily the quality of the visuals, but just the cohesion. And these are so sort of tied together nicely.
Yes.
Just not just the fact that they're sort of, all sort of like crayon drawn and stuff, but the fact that they're all on cardboard, the fact that they act like an actual sort of like puppet theatre kind of thing, where they sort of, the set dressing sort of disappears and reappears and stuff like that.
Very, very
It
consistent.
matches the tone of the game as well, which is very light-hearted and jolly.
Like a puppet show, basically. Yeah, it works really well. So I think that and we've already talked about the combat system, which could be tweaked a little bit, but works really well. And it's quite effective, and it probably needs some more interesting encounters and fights to actually shine, but it's there. So what about the narrative stuff then? So what did they say about their story engine? Because it looks like the text is definitely responding to things that we've done. So it's remembering that we've talked to them. We're having that the dialogues with the individual characters for recruitment are trees.
So the dialogue is loaded from a CSV file, which includes prerequisites for it to be displayed, who's going to say it, things like that.
Yep.
There are special cases for when it's the player's turn to speak, because each option is presented in the file. So they've obviously put some thought into sort of like modding this after the fact.
Yeah, which is good. So they haven't hard coded the dialogue's in there.
However, I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, so there is some impact on sort of. So you can. So obviously we didn't pick the rooster because we couldn't find him, but it didn't seem to have much narrative impact. It just meant we had less people doing damage. At the end of the game.
So it basically, I think what it did is it either affected whether we recruited them or not, and then if we could recruit them, it affected the way in which we recruited them. So did we have to fight them to recruit them? So in the expo when I played it, I didn't have to fight them to recruit them. Right?
So that's quite nice.
So I think they kind of came on board because, but I think the problem is it comes down to these meaningful choices again. It's not clear how to navigate through to do that. And part of the problem is because there's not enough characterization before you get to that choice to understand how to batter them, and there's no way of finding that out elsewhere in the game. So what might be nice is if there were other characters you could talk to in the game that gave you clues about the personalities of the animals that would then help you to recruit them. So maybe there's a barman who kind of can tell you about the rooster likes flattery or whatever it might be. So, but it's there.
I'm quite fond of how they've incorporated the narrative into flavouring the game mechanics as well. Saying, right, well, this narrative is about travelling musicians, so we're going to make it about guitar jewels rather than actually fighting people.
That's quite cute. Kind of taking it through.
It does just help keep the themes of the story alive.
So pacing-wise, and the way in which they've delivered the storytelling, what do you think?
It's very child-friendly, which is a lot different and very nice.
Yeah, that's true, actually. Yeah.
So yeah, you've got sort of like the little battles sort of while you're recruiting people. I mean, I don't know, if you sort of recruit people just through sort of dialogue options, I don't know how that affects the pacing. Because it feels like we had some sort of like nice mini climaxes and then the final showdown. But if it's just a case of we talk to them and they join, there's very little build up to that.
Yeah, that's true.
I thought that this did a very good job of actually building up overall. Starting with that sort of brief spike of tension as the robbers come in.
That's true. So you've got that at the beginning and then... So, I mean, again, we've asked them to deliver something we can play in 10 minutes and I think they've done a good job of that.
Yeah.
But you can imagine this engine actually delivering quite an interesting little puppet narrative that went on for 20 or 30 minutes that would be quite engaging. And like you said, the fact that it's guitar battles, the fact the way it's presented, all fits a certain aesthetic, which is quite good for children. So that would work quite well. So yeah, I kind of like that.
Apart from maybe the healing smoke. But
yeah, maybe the healing smoke. Although that's a joke for the parents, right? So that kind of works. Yeah. So again, I kind of think that they've. Other than them perhaps framing it a bit better and making the different endings a bit more clearer because it just sort of stops. Not bad at all.
I think the one thing I would like to have seen in this playthrough actually what happens when you lose the fights as well. So I'm curious.
That's true.
Yeah.
Maybe we should have been having a losing fight here, but should we go for it?
I think we need to wrap up.
Yeah, go on. I'm maybe, but because we're in Unity, it's going to take ages to restart. So. But yeah, good game. Okay, so I think we're done. So thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.